Hello, welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, I'm Didina, nice to meet you. Today I'll be reacting to the story of Guild Wars 2, Part 1, the personal story. I do want to give a disclaimer here. I did play like a little bit of it, mostly because my husband really encouraged me and he really likes the game, but it just didn't really interest me and I'm not really fond of MMOs that much. But I did hear that the lore is particularly very good. So I do want to check out these videos that people have recommended to me on Guild Wars 2 on the actual story and lore of the game. And I'm hoping I can enjoy the game through this way since I don't really have time to actually play more games thanks to having so many gacha games at hand. So I hope you enjoy it with me too. If it's, yeah, but I do have to say, even if I did play a little bit, I don't remember anything. That was like 2 years ago. I don't remember what I ate for lunch yesterday, so please do not expect me to remember things most of the time. Even when they talk about it. To me, it basically feels like the first time. But if you have a video that you'd like me to check out, then make sure to comment down below. But if not, then let's enjoy this.
Hello and welcome to my channel. This is a new mini-series covering the complete story of Guild Wars 2. Because with the End of Dragons expansion looming on the horizon, I want all that yummy lore to be fresh in my mind, and as it spans 7 years, 2 expansions and 5 seasons, I think brushing up on the main narrative arcs and characters is in order. Needless to say, spoilers ahead.
I'm fine with that.
Let's tarry not and go back to 2012, where our hero's journey began. Each of the 5 playable races has and had different starting locations, unique
I was that middle one.
and supporting characters, along with lots of choices to be made. In Act 1, Chapter 1, our character is thrown into the thick of a crisis. Sylvari players defend their home, the Grove, from the Nightmare Court, a faction of corrupt Sylvari. Asuran players vie for the prestigious Snaf prize whilst trying to thwart the cheating Inquest, a faction of ruthless, maniacal, unethical Asurans, as if there are any other kind. Char players
I feel like I remember that.
Of their warband and face off against the outcasts of the Flame Legion. More information about the Char of the Flame Legion in this video here. It's a bit of a deep dive. And finally, Norn players must face the Sons of Svanir, a faction of Norn who worship the Elder Dragon Jormag whilst trying to forge a legacy worthy of remembrance. Our character is also introduced to the main hero NPCs in Chapter 1 who act as a mentor and guide to the player. They are the Asuran Zoj, the Char Ritlock Brimstone, the human Logan Thackeray, the Norn Stogolkin, and the Sylvari Kaith. These 5 were once members of the now shattered Destiny's Edge Guild, the story of which I will cover later on in the video for good reason, trust me. So, Shadows of the Past. Act 1, Chapter 2 has the player confronting their past, allowing the writer to dive deeper into the 5 races, culture, history, and lands. Asuran players focus on the ethical consequences of their technological creations. Char players must face the legacy of their sire. Humans must face the loss of a close member of their family. Norn players must make amends for their past behavior, and the Sylvari players have a variety of stories which all introduced Trahan, a Sylvari firstborn/leader of the people, and the foremost expert on all matters related to the Elder Dragon Zaitan, its undead minions, and the risen continent of Or. This will become.
I will be pausing throughout the video, but my gosh, it's so complicated. There's so much to absorb here. How am I supposed to remember this all again? It'll probably take me like multiple rewatches to actually remember these concepts and race names, but oh boy, that is a long way. But okay, let's continue.
Very important later on. In Act 1, Chapter 3, having proven ourselves and risen to prominence, our mentor introduces us to representatives from 3 orders of Tyria. The Order of...
Wait, so we become prominent in like 3 chapters? You know, I guess we're geniuses in that case.
Whispers, the Vigil, and the Dermont Priory. These multiracial organizations seek to recruit you, and they all share a singular primary objective: combating the threat posed by the Elder Dragons. However, their methods and ethos vary.
Wait, so the dragons are the main enemies, from what I understand, and then we're more like natural enemies against whatever all the races, I suppose, and then... Okay, so let me get this straight. So we basically went to school, tutorial, whatever it's called, for each race. I believe the middle one that I chose was like a school thing, and then you kind of graduate. Like I said, it's been 2 years or so, so I can't really remember the actual details, but I think that's what it was. And then you get recruited and you choose a faction, association, and then that'll determine what kind of character you'll be, because their methods and ethos vary.
Wildly, and they hold each other in the highest contempt. The
Highest contempt?
Several centuries is the Order of Whispers, who are the quintessential spy masters and assassins of Tyria. Their currency of choice is information, and they have agents in every nation and power structure. They carry influence and steer events from the shadows, and they seek to return the Elder Dragons to their dormant state without direct confrontation. The Vigil is the newest of the Tyrian orders, founded by General Almora's Soulkeeper after Kraukatoric branded leagues of charred territory in the Blade-rich steppes. The Vigil is a super.
I have no idea what that is, but
advocates direct military action against the Elder Dragons and their minions.
Oh.
In their ranks, you will find soldiers, engineers, and tacticians. The last of the three is the Dermot.
I believe. So I guess the factions are based on what class type you choose. My assumption, of course, but that's what I'm getting. I believe I wanted to go for engineer because at the time I was very into, or I had very good memories of, what was it called? Dragon Quest, I believe that's what it was called. No, Dragon Nest. And there I believe I was an alchemist and I wanted something similar, so that's why I chose engineer. But yeah, I'm not really into, I realized I wasn't really into MMOs anymore as I got older, but it was still cool that they had something like engineer.
Priory, which was founded in 1105 after Exodus. These are Tyria's keepers of lore. They collate, and study the histories, magics, and artifacts of the
I would want to join that.
And novel alike. The Priory believes that the lost histories of past dragon risings are our best hope for salvation, and seek to uncover that lost lore. It is at this point in our story that the divergent threads of the 5 races begin to converge, and the primary overarching narrative of our origin story begins. For we, the player, have been born with great and a terrible purpose. We must face the elemental gods of destruction, the Elder Dragons. From the scroll of the 5 true gods, scholars of the Dermot Priory were able to furnish all but one of the 6 Elder Nightmares with name and aspect. Kraukatoric, Elder Dragon of Crystal and Fury, Primordus, Elder Dragon of Fire and Conflagration, Jormag, Elder Dragon of Ice and Persuasion, Mordramoth, Elder Dragon of Plant and Mind, Zaitan, Elder Dragon of Death and Shadow, and finally the nameless Deep Sea Dragon spoken of in the movement of the world. In the deepest waters of the sea, another dragon breathed, twisted the waters themselves into tendrils of horror that rose from every lake and river of the land. Of all these horrors, it is Zaitan who took its place as the tip of the spear, for Zaitan had already risen the shattered continent of Or. Along with its skeletal residents, it had embarked on a sustained, if low-intensity, invasion of the entire southern coast of the Sea of Sorrows, and its plague of undeath infected all in its wake. In Chapter 3, as before, each race has a different dragon-related mystery or puzzle to
terrifying.
solve. Before they commit to joining one of the orders, human players must investigate a plagued soldier spreading undeath and thwart an assassination attempt against Queen Jenna. Asuran players must rescue Gore, a researcher whose investigations have uncovered that Elder Dragons might be consuming magic. Char players hunt for crystals being used to spread the plague of undeath. Norn players must stop a band of dread from destroying the dwarf Ogrim Stonehealer and the Priory along with him, and Sylvari players must recover Calicbog, the lost blade of the firstborn Rhiannoch. At the start of Act 2, Chapter 4, having chosen an order, players meet their new mentor. Priory players.
So, judging by this, it seems like Act 1 is basically just 3 chapters, but I assume that 3 chapters takes a while to get through. And then it goes to Act 2, which is the Chapter 4, probably. But I assume, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I never really fully played the game myself. But I assume that in order, the whole idea of killing the Elder Dragon is more like a raid, I assume, is the equivalent. Is that what they're using the raid for?
Introduced to Magister Sirin and head off to explore Dwarven ruins occupied by the Dredge, hunting for a dragon blood sword, foreshadowing the events of Path of Fire. Order of Whispers players team up with Lightbringer Tybalt to investigate one missing Demi Beetlestone, daughter of Minister Cortigas, setting the stage for the story of The Living World Season 3. Individual players are sent to War Marshal Fargal Curson to safeguard the signing of a Char-human peace treaty in Ebonhawk. Needless to say, we succeed in all our endeavours. Act 2, Chapter 5, the story explores the consequences of the Elder Dragon rising on the tribal races of Tyria.
Wait, can you swim in this game?
Try to offer what aid you can as Jormag enthralls the Grawl of Dredgehaunt Cliffs and its iceberg.
Oh wait, I think I remember being able to swim.
Village, as Zaitan corrupts the High Lake of the Blood-Tide Coast, as the ogres of the Blade Ridge Steppes battle against Kraukatoric's branded minions, and as Primordus's destroyers devastate the script of the Arathi hinterlands. We're able to help these groups with varying degrees of success, and so ends the
varying degrees
to our orders and mentors.
So I guess in that case, it's not always a success when it comes to trying to complete a mission. You can actually fail, or it's a predetermined failure.
2, Chapter 6 starts with a worrying development as we uncover Satan's plan to invade Lion's Arch. At our mentor's side, we head to Claw Island, LA's first line of defense against maritime threats, to, well, raise the alarm. We are not the only ones trying to convince the overconfident garrison commander Talon of the imminent invasion. The firstborn Traherne too has travelled to Claw Island to press Talon to action just ahead of Zaitan's forces. Sadly, our warning falls upon deaf ears.
I hate it when that happens.
Swayed, Zaitan's undead fleet and champion have overwhelmed the garrison. Few survive the onslaught, and then only thanks to the sacrifice of our mentor, we are left to limp back to Lion's Arch, Traherne at our side to deliver the grim tidings. In consultation with our order, it is decided that
one of the things I hate so much is when clearly things are not going to be good, or when things are going to be bad and multiple people are telling them, but then they just refuse to listen because they're so prideful or egoistic. It just, it drives me nuts because their job is to protect and keep everyone safe, and yet they don't really seem to reflect that. It makes me so tired.
Claw Island must be retaken, the defences of Lion's Arch fortified, and we must recruit new allies. But Traherne entreats the player to seek counsel from the Pale Tree as well, for she is not only the arboreal mother of all Solvari, but she wields the burden of prescience, a gift most thought lost with the passing of the dragon prophet Glint. Lost when she stood with Destiny's Edge and challenged the elder dragon Kraukatoric, and failed. Failed because Logan was called away to protect his queen before the battle. Failed because of Air's decision to press on despite Logan's absence, at the cost of the life of not only Glint, but of the brilliant, courageous Asuran inventor, Snap. After this defeat, recrimination and
what is wrong with these people?
The survivors, their struggle to forgive one another, to come to terms with grief and defeat, play out in the game's story mode dungeons. In fact, it is Kaith alone who seeks to reunite Destiny's Edge to fulfill her wild hunt. For her and Traherne too are burdened with a terrible purpose born of the prophetic gift of their mother, the Pale Tree. And it is to her you go, to the grove, to the Amphalos chamber, to stand before the Blessed Mother seeking her foresighted guidance, which happily she gives you both, but with caution. For although she possesses true prescience, what she sees is possibilities, 1,000 branching realities springing from choice and chance.
So it's not always guaranteed.
Over Zaitan, but conditions must be met. Traherne must unite the orders of Tyria with you at his side, but even then, victory would only be won at terrible cost. The first obstacle in this grand plan was the animosity the orders held for one another. Trust and respect would be needed to unite them under a single banner.
Great.
But it was the second obstacle that would be the most challenging.
Are you
convincing
serious?
them all to follow a 21-year-old Sylvari with zero military command experience against a genocidal dragon god. None understood better the existential threat the dragons posed, so convincing them to pool their resources was a matter of logistics primarily, but accepting Trahan would take more than nebulous talk of prophecy. 3. Chapter 7, The Forming of the Pact. The reclamation of Claw Island was Trahan's first real trial, facing an elder dragon.
Wait, I have a question though. If the impending doom is from the dragons, and how come they don't really sense like the urgency of it? They seem to be taking it pretty slow and not really comprehending. I mean, I guess I get it if you're like living super far away from the, I guess, threat, and then you're being asked to share resources. But for the most part, everyone's aware of it, right? Maybe they just are too far. I don't really know how big this world is, like how far everything is from each other, so maybe that makes a difference.
Champion, and with his knowledge and leadership defeating it, that was the beginning of the Pact's trust in him, in their newfound unity, and in us, his right hand. There are many branching stories as we build the Pact, and many terrible losses suffered on the road to victory, but all hinge on having a foothold in Zaitan's territory and gaining warding magics to hold it. The Lagos Saya al-Rajid would offer the means to do this, sharing knowledge of an ancient orb known only to the deep dwellers, whose aura protects against the undead magics of Zaitan. Claiming the orb, players must face and defeat the champion of the crate. This blue orb is speculated to be an artifact of the deep sea dragon, and many believe the crate are its minions. End of Dragons may well resolve this matter. With the routing of Zaitan's forces and the founding of Fort Trinity, Marshal Trahan was one step closer to fulfilling his wild hunt. But whilst Yor and Kate's prophecy was a prosaic if insurmountable defeat, Zaitan, Trahan's divination was abstract. He must cleanse the source of all. The campaign going forward focuses on weakening
the source of
by
all.
cutting off its supply of magical artifacts, killing the mouth of Zaitan, a minion, and binding and blinding it to the Pact's movements, killing the eyes of Zaitan, another minion, whilst Trahan unraveled the mystery of his hunt. The revelation that the eyes of Zaitan were in fact the twisted corpses of Orion royalty was a shock to all, but offered Trahan a tantalizing clue to his prophetic conundrum. With Caliburg in hand, Trahan routed the undead, the royal tombs of Zeigbi Kubar, and attempted
Wait, let me go back.
and binding and blinding it to the Pact's movements, killing the eyes of Zaitan, another minion, whilst Trahan unraveled the mystery of his hunt. The revelation that the eyes of Zaitan were in fact the twisted corpses of Orion royalty.
What does that mean, the Orient royalty? What's so important about them?
To his prophetic conundrum. With Caliburg in hand, Trahan routed the undead, the royal tombs of Zeigbi Kubar, and attempted to cleanse the land of the dragon's corruption. And while the spell worked, it was only for a moment. This was not the place. It would take our aid to finally locate the source of all, and depending on your choice of mission, the location was either revealed by the ghost of a non-explorer or the avatar of Grenth. But either way, an artisanal well hidden beneath the mountain near Melandru's temple was the very spot where the gods first stepped.
So many locations.
That was the source of awe.
So that's what the source was.
Of the land, its rebirth was made possible, but only if we fulfilled our role as Dragon Slayer. The final mission of our origin story takes us to the ruined city of Ora, where the reformed Destiny's Edge Guild awaits us. Together we overcome Zaitan's lieutenants one by one as we fly over the shrouded ruins. Our final confrontation with Zaitan happens from afar as we bombard the beast from the deck of the Glory of Tyria, the flagship of the Pact's air fleet. Back at Fort Trinity, we and the survivors of the Pact forces celebrate our victory as the sun sets over the broken land of Or. If you enjoyed this meander down memory lane, please do like the video and subscribe.
So that's how it ends.
Installation of this lore series. Let me know if you think the blue orb is connected to the deep sea dragon, and if you think we'll see Lagos play a role in the End of Dragons expansion. Oh my god, I really hope so. And whilst you're
Blue
down there
orb?
typing furiously with your theories, please do show some love to Arthur, YU, Cody, Kildare, Cub, Molini, Jolly Joe, Star Dark Hoover, and all my wondrous, fantabulous Patreons, without whom I would be unable to dedicate the time and resources I do to my content creation. Thank you all so much, and thank you so much for watching, all my subscribers, all my viewers. You are awesome. If you'd like to join my Patreon, there are links below. And if you feel inspired to jump into Guild Wars 2, there are referral links down there as well, for both the free-to-play game and the Path of Fire expansion, which includes all the content from the Heart of Thorns expansion, and you can pre-order End of Dragons down there as well in those links.
That's pretty.
Any of these referrals directly supports my channel, because you, not a penny more, thanks to the ArenaNet's partner program, of whom I am a proud affiliate. But sadly, we have come to the very end. So until we meet again, please stay safe, stay awesome, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.
So the one thing I'm confused about is, so clearly there's more to the story, since she said it was a origin story. So I guess there's like another update that expands the main story. I thought it was more along the lines of they have the story and then it ends and then you're free to do whatever you want, but I guess not. Like I said, it's been a long time since I played an MMO, and I did not play all of this. I just played like the very beginning. I don't even think I completed the Act 1 actually, but there was a lot of locations that I could not really pick up where it was and what it was. So I feel like I learned a lot, but at the same time I feel like I didn't learn a lot because I was basically confused a lot of the times. Maybe I should have watched a different one that explained things little by little. At the same time, this did have a very comprehensive understanding of, or at least gave me a comprehensive understanding on how the story went. Because basically the enemies are the dragons, and we gather everyone together and fight them off and then win. And we're able to prevent the undead to appear in the future by having that thing rebirth. I forgot what it was called. Blue orb? No, blue orb was the undead prevention. And then they stopped the source of everything by initiating a rebirth. And then they killed the ultimate dragon. Is my understanding of what happened in this entire video. If you did enjoy this video, then please be sure to click the original, go to the original video, click like, subscribe to them, support them, you know the drill. But I did enjoy this. I did notice how interestingly the quality of the game gets way better. Like, it was pretty okay, especially since I believe this is a pretty old game, right? But after that, they have this really beautiful HD. I assume this is also part of the game, but like a newer update, like the newest update, at least at the time. This was 3 years ago, so I guess 3 years ago. But it really shows how much they improved the graphics for, or maybe it's just the marketing material. You have to let me know if that's the case. But either way, it's very interesting to learn like what the overarching story is and how it ended as our origin story or something along those lines. I guess after that, it's not, we're already famous, and then we have to go through more struggles, is my assumption. Maybe it has to do with dragons, because there are a lot more dragons, and I assume the overarching thing is where you guys have to kill the dragons completely from the world in order to succeed. But overall, it was a very enjoyable video. Can't believe it was only 15 minutes long, because it felt longer than that with how engaging it was and how complex and multi-layered and so much in there. I particularly found the part about the what was it? The group that continued to move forward and then they ended up dying to be very interesting. Would have liked to learn more about that. if there is a more detailed video out there. But as I said, if you have a video you'd like me to react to and check out, then make sure to comment down below. And if you enjoyed watching it, then please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more video essay reaction content of random video games or more. You know the drill. It just really helps with pushing the video out so that I can find viewers such as yourself and just be able to learn more from everyone in the fandom. I don't think I'll be able to play this game though, even if I do enjoy the lore, mostly because one, I don't have a PC anymore. So that doesn't help. But two, I actually quite enjoy experiencing the stories through this. Obviously, I know there's nothing that can replace actually experience everything yourself, but for time efficiency, it is quite fun to just see and learn from the players who really love the game. There's something special about that, you know? In any case, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!